So, Yana, it's thanks to you and thanks for joining. It's really great opportunity for us to know about you and also let our global audience to let them know about you. So, first of all, I would like to ask you if you can just introduce yourself, please.
Yes, hello and nice to be here. My name is Jana Saastamoinen. I am the head organizer of Startup Day, which is the biggest business festival in the Baltics, and also the board member of our NGO. Our main goal as an NGO is to support the startup and entrepreneurial ecosystem in Tartu and bring some very cool opportunities outside of the capital city, and we like to do it through organizing events. So our NGO organizes both Startup Day and Digit, which is a software development conference with the aim of building these skills that you need in any tech startup. My main role as the head organizer of Startup Day is to manage the day to day, to look over the strategy, to set new strategies to keep the NGO and Startup Day kind of growing and evolving throughout every year, whether that means managing all of the team, putting that together every year. It's also budgeting, strategy, partnerships, and everything all the way to vacuuming the office if need be. But previously, my professional career started once upon a time at Startup Day as a marketing assistant. So I really learned to love the ecosystem and the startup community. And then I grew to be the head of marketing during COVID times, which was interesting in itself of how to manage communications when regulations changed every 2 weeks from the government about how you can organize events. And then I went to Tallinn for a little while to organize hackathons and entrepreneurship programs, and got my proper project management starts from there. And then I came back to Tartu to follow the passion. And shortly, that is my present and future. The future, I think, is just continuing to grow and support the community and get new startups started, continue their journey, create lots of opportunities for networking, bring together different parties, and support the development of the Tartu community in the middle of it.
Yeah, so very interesting and very good to hear from you. Just I wanted to check, like I can understand that you are not passionate about entrepreneurship, startups, or that's the part of the job that you're focusing right now. But we'd like to just know how was your past? I mean, I'm sure, I mean, maybe you had different vision, different dreams. How was your past? If you just give us a little bit glimpse about your past, and maybe from your family life to education or something like that, so that our young generation can get inspired from your story.
All right. So, as a very small child, my parents actually had their own company. So, my first kind of touch point with entrepreneurship was following my dad around in his office and being a little tail for him and supporting my parents when they went to expos. So perhaps secretly, subconsciously, that's where my interest in entrepreneurship and organizing events started. I remember when I was about 5 years old, my favorite part of all of these expos was all the free cake that they gave. Back then, that was at least the cool thing to do. And we went to manufacturing expos, so I didn't really understand anything, but it was fun nevertheless. And then at school, when I was about, I think in seventh grade, we started our first company where we sold jewelry. So super basic, didn't really need any skills. Looking back, wasn't even great jewelry, but I think that was a first kind of taste of what it's like to run a very simple but still run a business. And then in high school we did a subscription box service where we sold vegan subscription boxes, so that was perhaps the first real company that we started, where we actually had to take a look at budgeting, and we couldn't just ask our parents for money to buy bits for earrings. So that was, I think, the first kind of proper, okay, maybe this is what I want to do. And back then, I was mostly in charge of marketing. So I went to study marketing, and actually, I also studied events management. It was a very interesting combination of events and leisure marketing. So a bit of events management and a bit of marketing management. And how I got there was kind of almost accidental. I was going to go to study fully marketing at a different university, but they sent me really, really ugly newsletters. So I decided I don't want to go study marketing in a school that sends ugly newsletters. So half accidentally, I ended up in Bournemouth University, where we studied events and leisure marketing. And then I had to look for, it was a 4-year program with a placement year. So I had to look for a place to do my placement and get some experience. And that's how I somehow accidentally ended up in Tartu at Startup Day doing marketing, and kind of everything has progressed from there. And I think why it has progressed so fast from a marketing assistant to the head organizer within like 6 years, with a little bit of bits and bobs in between. But I think it's just a desire to learn and network, and putting yourself out there and not getting comfortable. And I've been also very lucky in the sense that Startup Day as an NGO is a very good place where you can try different things. No one really looks down on you if you make a mistake. Mistakes are taken as, okay, that's a learning point. Now we know what not to do. How can we move on from that? So it's a very open place. It's a place where all of our team leads and our core team come to get this experience of being a leader in their own fields. And I just feel very, very lucky, and everything has kind of settled into place. But I also know that it's been a lot of hard work in the behind the scenes. So it's not just luck; it's a combination of being in the right place at the right time, but also doing the best you can wherever you can, and kind of being there so people notice you. So when there are opportunities, they think about you and they support you. So it's you're
Yeah,
never.
certainly, certainly, absolutely, you're right. And if I ask you about your current or present challenges at your workplace, do you have any, I mean, hiccups, any challenges, or do you have any dream that you'd like to make it happen? What's your current focus?
I think one of the biggest challenges that we face every day is that we are 2.5 hours away from the capital city. So trying to get international people to come to Tartu it takes a little bit more work than it would to get them to Tallinn or Riga or Vilnius, even though it is only 2.5 hours. So the way I like to say it is that if you fly into London, it's going to take you 2 hours
Yeah.
to get to where you're going anyway, and that usually works and does the trick. But it's, if you look at the map, it's like, okay, but I can't fly into Tartu unless I go through Finland. So our goal, and my goal, is to keep increasing the percentage of international participants coming to Tartu and showcasing how cool of a city this is and how supportive the ecosystem is. So if you want to start a company, if you want to start a startup, then this is a really, really good place to do it, because everyone knows everyone, and it's a very calm living environment. It's a sandbox city. We have so many very talented incubators, accelerators, funding opportunities, and a lot of knowledge in the city. So that's one of the challenges, and one of the like personal challenges that I've had over the past year running the organization is that we are an NGO, so our budget is very limited, and our team is actually very small. We organize a 3,000 person festival, but the core team is 5 people, out of whom 3 are like year-round employees. So it's working with a lot of volunteer team leads who come here to get their first work experience, and they are absolutely amazing to work with. But it is a lot of like hand holding, and I absolutely love it. It's my job. It's why I do it. It's a lot sometimes, but the end is completely worth it. And it's lovely to see how people grow and develop their skills. So it's completely 100% we'll do it again the same way.
Yeah, I'm sure. And I had the opportunity to witness and mention you the startup day this year. Fantastic. And that's why I'm very much eager to know about your future now. Do you like to really go for global? Because you say it's one of the events, very popular in Baltic and one of the largest events. So why not? I mean, don't you reckon this is the time for you to think out of Baltic, out of EU, to think and treat yourself globally so that we can really make the bridge between EU and other parts of the world? Because at the end of the day, we are the global citizen. Would you have a say on this regard?
This is a very interesting topic, and we've had quite a lot of discussions about this within our NGO. And our NGO comprises of the entire Tartu startup ecosystem, our members. So when I talk about them, I talk about our NGO. But I think for Startup Day, our main mission, why we were founded in the first place, was to promote entrepreneurship in Tartu. So we do try to create these connections, and through our co-organizers, and invite more people, more international players to Tartu. And we also like take part in events outside of the Baltics. Next week we're going to Tech Arena in Sweden. But I think if we're talking about our activities and where we do our events and where we organize things, then that's always going to be in Tartu, just because that's why we're founded. One of our biggest reasons why we even started this. But we do like projects outside, and we do a lot of cooperations with Japan, for example. Their presence at Startup Day is growing every year, which I'm really happy about. So we try to foster these connections between Estonia and other countries through Tartu and through Startup Day and our activities there.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I mean, do not forget about your root or origin. Tartu should be the root, no problem. But from Tartu, we can embrace the world, and world can come to Tartu and let people know. And that's why you probably know that we are now a Estonian company, but also I'm living in Middle East and Saudi Arabia, so that's why we'd like to make the bridge between EU towards Estonia, so that EU and other parts of the world. So finally, I'm going to ask you one thing for the future generation or for the startups or the entrepreneurs, if you have anything to comment for their inspiration, because they are our future. For the youth, what should be your last message?
I think the biggest message that I can give is try new things, try to get as much experience as you can. Don't be afraid of failure, because that's the best way to learn, and really try to focus on building relationships. It's the people who you can ask for help from, it's the people who you can ask for advice from, who will really help you grow no matter where you are. And if you're thinking about starting a company, do it. The worst that can happen is that it fails and you start again. But the world really needs new ideas and new perspectives, and new startups, not just in Estonia but globally, who try to solve the problems that we're facing right now and not get stuck in the comfort zone. And there is a lot of capital available, there's a lot of knowledge available, there's a lot of experience available. Just take the risk and try it, and don't be afraid of making the world a better place.
Absolutely. To solve the problem, you need to deal with the problems. You need to be with the problems. You need to overcome the problems. By the problems, then you can have the solution. Thanks a lot. With this note, we're going to end up our this interview. Thanks a lot to Jana, and it's really an honor having you. And I'm sure if your speech, if it creates inspiration, at least one individual's heart, that's it. That's our achievement. So that we can, inspire at least one human being, because one human being is a human capital, and you never know how far he or she is going to create further impacts on your inspiration. So thanks a lot for your time. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.